A longtime camper at New Hampshire's Pemmy River Campground had always enjoyed the beautiful White Mountains with his RV and pit bull. But one afternoon in late 2025 while hiking, everything changed. His dog suddenly bolted in terror, and he came face to face with a massive 10-foot dog man just 10 feet away. Amber eyes, intelligent gaze, barrel chest, and hands with long claws. It stood up with popping joints, wiggled its fingers, vocalized with bone-rattling bass that made him vomit. It then followed him back to his RV, pounded on the door all night. He's never returned to the woods since. I'm Uncle Perry. I don't just tell stories, I dig up the fucked up ones most folks are too chicken shit to talk about. And I do it in a cavalier kind of way. From cryptids to government secrets, I chase down the truth behind the legends. Today, we're looking back at some of the freakiest dogman encounters of 2025. We're diving into real, spine-tingling encounters that crank up the fear way past oh shit. So strap yourself in, grab whatever you've got, and brace for impact, because what's coming next? Trust me, it's going to get seriously insane. Let's get it! The most frightening dogman encounter ever. Terry used to fucking love camping at Pemmy River Campground in the White Mountain National Forest near Lincoln, New Hampshire. The place is gorgeous, and he'd been hitting it every summer for the past 10 years. He's a business owner with an RV, loves the outdoors, and had racked up plenty of solid adventures there. But a few weeks before October 31st, 2025, shit went sideways in the worst way. One experience completely ruined the woods for him forever. It was so goddamn intense and frightening that when he got called to talk about it, he puked just from thinking back on that night. He's clearly traumatized, speaks with a slight stutter about it, and hasn't been back outdoors since. Terry wanted a badass sunset photo amidst the stunning New Hampshire fall colors. His wife wasn't feeling well, so she was fine with him hiking solo. She dropped him at the trailhead with his 100-pound pit bull, Rogue, and she said she'd pick him up in an hour. About 30 minutes into the hike, they stopped for some snacks. Scanning around, he spotted a rock outcropping above the trees, a prime spot for that pick. Suddenly, Rogue just froze. The big pit bull, its tail tucked, started whining and crying hard. Nothing scares this 100-pound tank, so Terry's neck hair stood straight up. He asked what was wrong, and she looked at him scared and took off, full sprint backward toward the trailhead. Dude, trust the dog. Terry turned back around and holy shit, something was walking on all fours 10 feet away. He knew instantly it wasn't a wolf or a bear. He knows the local wildlife, and this was all fucking wrong. The head was enormous. Sheer terror locked him in place. This thing was so big, the top of its back was at his neck level. His mind screamed, this thing shouldn't exist. It's not right. It's still daylight, clear visibility. It had a barrel chest as it came forward on all fours. Amber eyes, terrifying and way too intelligent. It snarled, not super loud, but loud enough. It had pads on its feet, like a dog's, but on its front legs were hands. It stepped to the trail center and stood up on its hind legs. Its joints popped loudly, like that grudge bitch. Y'all know what I'm fucking talking about. Standing upright, it was around 10 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide at the shoulders, hands tipped with 4-inch claws, at least an inch thick. Its head looked too big for its body, elongated like a German shepherd's, but 5 times bigger, disproportionate as hell. It kept glancing at him, then the machetes, then back at him, then the machetes. It kept going back and forth, sizing him up. It raised its arms and wiggled its fingers, staring at him intently. Terry was sure it was about to rip him apart. He was dead. Then it howled, screamed. When vocalizing, it leaned toward him, only 4 feet away at one point. It was close enough to see the back of its throat. The bass hit him so hard, it made him puke worse than your mom after mixing cheap gin with tuna can brine. It slapped the pine tree hard, leaving deep gouge marks in the bark. This made him piss himself. After the tree slap, it looked at him and showed its teeth on one side, like a smirk, enjoying his fear. It stared at him, dropped to all fours, snarled once more, and walked off into the woods. Terry stood frozen, mind reeling. He'd seen Bigfoot shit on TV, but this absolutely wasn't that. The head shape was completely different. He pulled himself together and started back toward the trailhead. After about 2 minutes, he heard something huge step out of the woods onto the trail about 100 feet behind him. He thought, oh no, not again. It was a Sasquatch, conical head, red eyes, 8 to 9 feet tall, shoulders 4 to 5 feet wide, bigger than a 4x8 sheet of plywood. The Bigfoot was huge, but the dogman was bigger. Terry power walked the opposite way. He kept looking back. The Bigfoot was walking towards him, doing a shoe and hand motion and making "oorah, oorah" sounds. The trailhead was about a quarter mile from his camper. He made it and jumped into the car where Rogue was there shaking. His girlfriend asked what happened. He just begged, just get the fuck out of here as fast as possible. They still had one more night at the campsite, so he didn't want to terrify her completely, but he knew these things were too damn close. Back at camp, she tried calming him down. Giggity. Walking into the RV, he locked the door on instinct. As they were talking, something tried to unlock and open the door. Cornered, Terry grabbed 2 machetes. I've had enough of this shit. He figured it was coming in to finish the job. The door stayed locked, so it pounded, 3 hits at a time, shaking the entire camper. This thing could have easily ripped the door off, but it didn't. He heard it run off, crashing through the brush outside. Later, sitting and waiting, they heard more vocalizations. His girlfriend got pissed. What did you do? What happened? Shrugging his shoulders, he shook his head. Nothing more happened that night. Of course, they got 0 sleep. It had followed him back to camp just to keep scaring the living shit out of him. Terry's warning? Don't assume daytime means you're safe. These things are out there. They shouldn't fucking exist. And they can destroy your sense of security in a heartbeat. When the dog barked back. Peter, in his late 20s, lives deep in the Appalachian Mountains with his nearest neighbor and good buddy James a few miles down the road. He's got a Rhodesian Ridgeback Samoyed mix named Sheba. Super keen. Always picks up on emotions and danger. Peter wrote this August 30th, 2025, the day after the nightmare went down, still fucked up and trying to process it. It kicked off like a normal evening. Peter invited James over for a backyard campfire. They'd been bullshitting for hours about mountain life, the isolation, the peace. All good as long as you follow the unspoken rules. Don't fuck with the dark and ignore the weird shit. Sheba lounged nearby, ears twitching at every noise. Talk turned to local legends, Bigfoot, skinwalkers, supernatural shit people whisper about out here. James mentioned an old lady he recently chatted with who vanished an hour later, who's still yet to be found. Peter shrugged it off. Shit happens in these parts. However, Sheba started getting antsy as the sun dipped. As the fire died down, Sheba snapped her head toward the tree line at the field's bottom, ears flat, low growl. Not her usual critter growl. This was a danger growl. Peter and James killed the fire quick. Peter dragged Sheba inside, but as he turned away, his neck hairs stood up. Sheba barked. Then something in the trees barked back, mimicking her voice perfectly. James grabbed Peter's arm, yanking him toward the steps. "Come on, man. You know the rules. Ignore it. Get the fuck inside. Hurry." Peter snapped out of it, hauled Sheba in. They slammed the door and locked it. Heavy footsteps circled, too controlled for a bear, too big for a deer. A shadow flickered at the tree line, appearing, then vanishing. Growls and snorts drifted around the house. Sheba went nuts trying to guard. Peter put her in a kennel. They shut the windows, but Peter accidentally left the kitchen one cracked. They sat on the couch, both armed. Peter's gun was under the couch. For about an hour, the thing paced outside, sniffing loud, growling steady, then sniffing at the kitchen window. James gasped, grabbed Peter's shoulder. Two white, glazed-over eyes stared in, emotionless, creepy as hell. James hyperventilated, gun up, and fired. The bullet hit the wall right next to his left eye. The thing shrieked, inhuman, animalistic, mixed with a woman's scream. It bolted off the porch into the field. James slammed the window shut and locked it. "What the fuck, James? You just pissed it off!" Peter snapped. "Dude, it was staring me down. We're probably fucked anyway. That was creepy as shit." Suddenly, there was a big thud on the porch. James dove for cover. "We're fucked!" Peter pulled up the security cams on his phone. Front porch. Blood splattered on the wall and porch. Back porch, nothing. "Didn't we just hear it there?" James asked. "Probably trying to lure us out," Peter said. He kept scanning. Then a black shape rose at the porch edge. Long, pointed ears, head like a smashed-in German shepherd, teeth jutting way out, way too big for the mouth. Total nightmare fuel. It jumped up, snatched the camera, and the screen went black. It stomped around on the porch and shoved on the door a few times. The knob rattled but stayed locked. Then pounded on the door and wall. A little later, it fucked off. They stayed up all night, wired, no sleep. Sheba focused wide-eyed at the door. Around 8 a.m., James headed to his dad's for help. They all know the supernatural game, each with their own weird experiences. Peter figured it was a dogman. James's dad came over, blessed the house, Peter, James, and Sheba. His dad warned them, "Don't go out after dark." Peter and James already knew better now. They damn sure watch the clock from here on out. Morning check. No prints. No damage. Even the blood on the porch? Gone like it never happened. I picked up a Dogman pup, and this is what it looked like. Tom Brown, a former law enforcement officer, has had some pretty seriously fucked up Dogman encounters over the years. They've all left a mark, but one stands way the hell above the rest. The time he actually picked up and examined a wounded Dogman pup. When Tom describes the anatomical details he saw up close, one feature in particular will blow your mind. This went down in November 2025. Tom was out in the woods hunting for Bigfoot tracks when he spotted what looked like a deer trail, but way too wide, about 3 feet across, completely cleared of leaves and twigs, worn down to bare dirt. He was working his way from the bottom of a hill up to the top, circling around the point of the ridge. That's when he saw something coming head first down a grapevine hanging from a white oak tree. Getting closer, he realized it was small, maybe 15 to 20 pounds. It turned out to be a jet black puppy-looking thing. It wasn't aggressive at all. Tom got within 20 feet, pulled off a glove, and held it out. The pup didn't bite or snap, just sniffed curiously. When it reached about 5 feet off the ground, Tom reached in and gently lifted it off the vine. The critter had a short 3-inch tail sticking out, bloody and ragged at the end, like it had been bitten or cut off. No hair on the tail itself. The pup was basically a big ball of fur. It had very long, pointed ears sticking straight up on top of its head and a short snout. Hair partially covering its eyes. Tom carefully lifted the top lip. It had massive canines for such a young pup. He pulled down the lower lip. Same big lower canines. When he raised the upper lip again, he spotted these perfect pockets inside the mouth. When the pup closed its jaws, the 2 lower canines fit right up into those pockets like they were made for it. The top 2 canines, though, they stuck out outside the mouth, laying flat against the outer skin when closed. Fucking wild. He brushed the hair back from its face. The eyes were clear, like staring into 2 glass marbles. No pupils, no irises, just solid, transparent glass. Creepy as hell. Tom figured the mother had to be close by. This sure wasn't a coyote pup or wolf pup. Its back feet were huge and furry, almost comically oversized. The front arms were small and fuzzy, ending in human-looking hands, covered in hair. At the elbow joint, where a human's would bend, the elbow actually touched the ground when it moved on all fours. The prints looked like a giant turkey leg. Overall, it was cute in a fucked up kind of way. Tom set the pup back on the grapevine. It slowly climbed back up using its hands and the claws on its feet. He backed off quietly, circled the hill to the top, and headed down a logging road. About a mile away, he heard a high-pitched scream like a coyote call. It repeated, getting deeper and throatier each time. He pushed on into another holler, out along a ridge, then got tired and sat on a rock to rest. Looking left and down the slope, he spotted something big and black below him. He froze, thinking he was hidden. The thing kept coming toward him. When it drew even with him, it stood up on its 2 legs, locked eyes right on Tom, and let out a god-awful scream. That scream hit like an allergic reaction. His throat closed up. Eyes started burning. Breathing all fucked up. Tom scrambled up the hill, halfway up the mountain, and ducked behind a massive poplar tree. The goddamn thing was searching for him. His breathing was heavy and ragged. He knew if it got closer, he'd hear him for sure. He stepped out from the tree, and it screamed again. It felt like a lightning bolt of electricity ripping through his body, muscles jumping. Tom hauled ass straight up the mountain to a fence row at the top. He crossed over the fence and onto a logging road where ATVs had torn it up. The dog man reached the fence row and didn't jump. It just stepped over the 5-foot fence like it was stepping over a kid's toy. This thing was huge. Tom unzipped a hidden pocket in his pants, pulled out his .22 caliber pistol. Dude, you're gonna need a bigger gun. And fired one round into the air. The fucker didn't even flinch. Tom cut right back into the woods, heading for an old homestead he knew was nearby. He made it to the abandoned house around 1:30 p.m. No doors or windows left on the house. He hunkered inside for a solid 30 minutes, scanning for the dog man. Nothing. Figuring he was clear, he stepped out the front door, rounded the corner, and started toward his car, still about a mile away. Fast forward for a while. Almost inside of the vehicle, he heard rustling to the right. He looked over. The dog man was plowing through a thicket of saplings and briars, walking upright on 2 legs, head and shoulders way above the brush, staring straight at him with glowing red eyes. Tom kept moving. The thing paralleled him about 20 yards away, crashing through everything, making all kinds of goddamn noise. Right before Tom reached the car, it stepped out onto the old logging trail, let out a roar like a pissed-off mountain lion, showed every tooth in its head, and screamed again. Tom dove into the car, windows up, doors locked, fired it up, and peeled out. He hit the gravel road and drove until he reached a convenience store. He grabbed a cup of coffee, then took 17 different back roads home to shake any tail he might have got. These assholes will follow you all the way home if you're not careful. Tom's advice? If something like this happens, take random routes back. Stop at a store. Grab a drink. Hang out for 30 minutes or so. Let them lose your scent. Don't lead them straight to your home. Sometimes they find you. Steve, a lifelong Upper Peninsula of Michigan resident, had a terrifying dogman encounter less than a week before sharing it. It happened November 15, 2025, opening morning of deer season, 14 miles north of Menominee, Michigan. He and his dad always camp out the night before near the hunting blind to already be in the hunting spot. They've used the same blind for 20 years. Dad picked Steve up at 4 a.m. with Steve's black German Shepherd, Damien. They posted up at the No Frills cabin. One big room, no running water. Dad took the bedroom. Steve slept in the living area. Nothing weird overnight. Steve woke at 4:30 a.m. Dad hit the outdoor shitter. Steve said he'd wake him in 30. He geared up in camo, grabbed some food, water, ammo, and his bolt-action 30-06 loaded with 4 shells and put 3 spares in his pocket. That's better than the 22. Thick fog rolled in. The hunting blind was 400 yards down a gravel road, then 350 yards north through the woods. Dad hunted at the camp. Steve took the blind. The narrow path to the blind was choked with brush. 3 200-yard lanes cut through the cedar swamp. The middle lane was baited. Steve settled as the light increased. There was immediate stomping and movement. A little doe stepped out, ears perked. Steve scoped her. A huge wolf thing blocked the lane, still ignoring Steve. It finally turned and vanished. 10 minutes later, the doe was perfectly still. Weird noises, metallic clangs, tree knocks, thuds, mixed footsteps, both deer-like and bipedal. The blind vibrated hard for 4 to 5 seconds, 4 times. 30 to 40 minutes after the wolf thing, a big, black shape rose 30 yards away from the doe. Steve, shaken, lifted his rifle up, whispering, "Don't look at me, don't look at me." 6.5 feet tall, lean, cut muscles, no tail and canine hind legs. It was moving like it was pissed off, stomping around. Crooked, large snout, intelligent eyes. It stomped down the lane, stretched its right arm back, and whiffed at the doe. When his arm came around, Steve could see the palm of its hand and its long claws. It gave Steve a furious glare. Then it pounced 15 to 20 feet onto a good-sized cedar tree and clung to it. Then leapt to a limb high up in the lane. It dropped down on its belly and wrapped its arms and legs around the branch. Steve kept a scope on it. He tried texting his dad, but the phone was dead. He wanted to GTFO, but he knew it would come after him. Finally, he said fuck it. He got out of the blind, fast walked the lane behind the blind, glancing back, his panic rising. Halfway, he could hear something coming up from behind him on the left. Steve snapped. He yelled for it to stop following him and to fuck off. He walked, then ran, not a full sprint toward the gravel road. He had a 1/4 mile left. He made camp, burst in, and told his dad everything. His dad theorized it was an angelic protector from another dimension. Steve felt it was a dogman that was mad at him for aiming his rifle at the doe. He had the crosshairs on the doe for several minutes. That night, Steve could hear movement in the woods when he let Damien out to pee. His dad was pissed that Steve refused to continue hunting. They got into a big argument. Steve stormed out of the cabin for a dark walk with Damien. Something was walking along with him in the brush. Steve reached the highway and called his mom to pick him up. Waiting, holding Damien's collar because they were by a highway, he heard a chittering sound across the road, like when the alien in Signs is in the house. On his side, there's a ditch with long grass, and he and the dog both hear something in the tall grass. His dog is locked onto it. All at once, it was 5 feet away from him. He figured it was doing some kind of a belly crawl. Steve moved down a bit, but he kept hearing it. His mom finally got there and picked him and his dog up. Needless to say, both were relieved when that happened. All right, folks, that's the end of our deep dive into the absolute clusterfuck of 2025 Dogman sightings. These things came out swinging, showing up in broad daylight, deep woods, backyards, and right at the edge of civilization like they own the goddamn place. Whether they're swatting at deer to protect them, chasing down anyone who touches their young, or just fucking with people for the sheer hell of it, 2025 made one thing crystal clear. These aren't shy cryptids hiding in the shadows anymore. They're bold, they're close, and they don't give a flying fuck about rifles, daylight, or your camping plans. They'll follow you home if you let them, vanish evidence like blood on porches by morning, and leave you sleeping with the lights on for weeks. Bottom line, the woods, the swamps, the mountains. They're not empty. Something's out there watching, sizing you up, and deciding how much fear it wants to dish out. Stay sharp, travel in groups, keep your damn phone charged, and maybe, just maybe, think twice before wandering off trail alone. Do you like weird-ass monsters and government conspiracies? Then tap that like button and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. What dogman precautions should you take when you go dipping out into the wilderness? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're ready to crank that shit all the way up to 11, that join button's got your name on it. For just $2.99, you can have my back in a huge way. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.